Welcome to the Point 101. I'm your host, Gail, and today we're diving deep into a topic that touches the heart of every parent and guardian: God's promises for our children. Join me. Hello, everyone. Let me just put this WhatsApp number in here. 1 second. Okay, that is the WhatsApp number. Then I will put the link in here for those that would like to join the live. Just 1 second here. How are you all doing? We're closer to the weekend. We're closer to the weekend. Okay, and then I am going to post the coffee link here. It's just an app called Buy Me a Coffee. So, and we are going to read today again. Okay, and so we are just catching up on now let me log in here so I'm not trying to overdo the eyes. Happy Thursday. And so, just 1 second as I'm logging in here, let me just do this. I am going to but thank you everyone for joining me, depending on where you are joining us from. It is Gail here, and whether it's inspirational that you're looking for or just guidance, I am here. And thank you for joining me. So we will be reading from our positive discipline. I posted a link the other day with a parent that had one child that pushed another. And I tell you, the way she handled that situation and her corrections that she made, that is how it really should be done. Not, my children are fighting, so I'm going to upload this fight onto Facebook or Instagram for views. No, you make the corrections right there. And then you wonder why, when they're outside the door, they are so aggressive because the corrections were never made. And so I was just looking at that, like, this is worth sharing. This is really worth sharing because I'm telling you, we need to look at enough examples on how to handle positive discipline without screaming at the top of our lungs, without enforcing corporal punishment, especially. Like, this is the way to go. This right here is the way to go, and to allow your child to figure it out and have a voice. Because when she was done and she told that child that he had to go on a timeout, like, the child even apologized to his brother, and he understood the reason why she sent him into a timeout. And I mean, there was no screaming, no yelling. You can tell that that child was used to having a voice, having the reason explained to him why his actions were wrong. And I just think that is the telltale sign right there of good parenting. Parenting 101. There was no yelling match. He wasn't picking up things, tossing it. And I believe, if I'm not mistaken, she had three young ones there. And it was just so peaceful and calming. And it's like, you know what? This here is worth sharing. And this is what's missing in these households. Instead of, how many times did I tell you not to hit him? Oh, give me a belt. All the screaming. Whew. At the end of the day, no one hears anyone because everybody's just busy screaming. It's like this right here is parenting 101. This is how situations should be handled. When you do enough, they know, okay, I've done wrong. I hit my brother. I have to go sit down and figure out. I will come out and I will apologize and try my best not to do it again. Parenting 101 to me. I thought this is how it's supposed to be in these households. Not everyone being so aggressive. We are going to get it right soon. We are going to get it right soon. And also the lines are open. So if you want to call in, feel free to call in because I am here to share what little knowledge I have. Okay. And that's what we're doing, from sharing knowledge with one another. And as I said, we will read um, Defiance, Disobedience, and Rebelliousness because some of our children are rebelling. Some of us need help in figuring it all out because you don't want to be sitting there as a parent or grandparent, aunt, uncle, cousin, brother, anyone else, and look at someone looting stores or there's the headlines. Someone is wanted for live another person, and you can look and say, he belongs to us. We need to get away from that. Okay, so let's get into this here reading because we have not read. We've been doing a lot of reading, but we need to get back on God's promises for children because uh, it's not directed me, so we'll let that go. So we will not let it go. We will continue on until further notice. Here. And again, hopefully you guys are getting something out of this. I'm telling you, I do put a lot of work into it. Spirit guided. Not. Okay, let's read. Let's begin to read. And as you come in, do not forget to put some like on the video, okay? And share the video around, especially if you know someone that has a young child, children in general. I don't want to just stick it on and say this is just for people with young children, children in general. Right. Let's get going. Again, welcome, all welcome. For the ones that's putting the love and the thumbs up on the video and the And I don't know if we want to pray for you as well. And hopefully you're not putting anger on to your children. The one speaking about turning out angry children because we are so angry and we don't know why we have not gone to get help or anything else. We just want to stay angry before thinking that you're doing something. But when it's all said and done, let me tell you something. When you have the love of the Most High, you can't, there's nothing you can say or do. So all the words with the angry faces, God bless you, and He loves you anyway. Okay, and hopefully you can take a little of this lesson and apply it to your children so that they will be the opposite of the darkness that you're trying to show and let that light guide them. Okay? Now, defiance, disobedience, and rebelliousness. My child refuses to cooperate with anything I ask of her. She is what you would call a strong child, defiant, disobedient, and rebellious. I have tried every punishment in the book, and nothing works. Some have suggested as an oppositional defiant disorder and needs to be on medication. It seems too extreme. At this point, I just don't know what to do. So, understanding how yourself at the situation. And a lot of you have following me. Don't forget, we're still in the book of positive discipline, okay? 1001 solutions to everyday parenting problems. Yes, I will do the research for you and bring it to you, okay? That's how much I want to help you overcome whatever it is that you and your child is going through and change that uh, idea or ways of if your child is not doing what you say, go upside a child's head, scream and yell, throw things, and then your child go outside the door, screaming and yelling, not knowing what forgiveness, not knowing how to compromise. Um, they- what happens in the moment is what they take out in the streets. So, and your child are in a power struggle that can easily turn to revenge. The more you try to force your will into your child's demands, the more she will defy you and more deeply discourage you. Defiant, disobedient, and rebellious children are gifts sent to parents who need to practice invited cooperation instead of practicing power over others or being too lenient. And I think a lot of times as parents, that is the problem that a lot of us face because we want to be in control. Really, it is a power it is a power trip that we are on. I'll show you. You do as I say, and if you don't, this will happen. That will happen. You know, I'm going to use my fist. I'm going to cuss you out. Like we truly get past that because when it's all said and done, look, that type of behavior is helping no one, and that's the truth. It's not helping your child any. As a matter of fact, you're making your child more aggressive. And when you watch them be aggressive with each other, instead of taking the camera up to you, make that corruption. Because a lot of times, again, we, the parents, cause a problem. We are the cause of the problem. Now, here's a couple of suggestions. The first thing to do is to look at your own behavior. Look at your behavior. Disobedience Defiance and rebellion is often a direct response to the parents who are excessively controlling or overprotective. And as a parent, I said before, and I'll say it again, if you truly do not believe that you can bully your child, that you are bullying your child, then something's definitely wrong. Because bullying starts at home. There's a fine line between parenting, abuse, bullying. There's a difference there. Because if you're parenting, you should be parenting in the space of love and not out of um, what am I looking for? You're doing it. I don't know because of your environment. You're doing it because of your financial situation. Parenting is not easy. You can't say it doesn't come in a book. That's how you can get a book. But some people just don't want to go by the book because it goes against their belief and it goes against their ability because of us have not forgiven our parents for whatever mistakes they have made. And we truly have it embedded in our minds. If I went through it and I survived it, then there's nothing wrong. No, there was something wrong because you didn't like it. So if you didn't like it when it was being done to you, why would you want to do it to your child? I didn't like it at all. I was complaining. I was saying how much I wanted to run away, but yet this is the same exact thing that you were doing to your child. So do you think your child feel like they need to run away? Now, if your child is an arguer or arguer, she may have someone nearby who gives her arguing practice. If it's you, practice letting your child have the last word. This is harder than you think. Try it. Get into your child's world and make guesses to learn what is behind a defiance. For example, it could be that you are angry because you think I boss you around too much. Could it be that you feel hurt because the baby gets so much attention? You can usually guess what is going on in your child's life that may be provoking defiance. Your child will feel validated and understood when you guess correctly. If you guess incorrectly, try again. And so allowing your child to have the last word. And I want to speak about that. Okay, so I did a little research here. Now, having that last word, like, here are some key points to consider. Okay, this is what happens when you allow your child to have encouragement of independence. When children know that they can express their thoughts and have the final say, they feel better, more empowered. The sense of independence can foster their confidence in decision making. And that is what we need to realize that we're taking away from our children is their voices. And I believe that is one of the reasons why so much is happening. And when something bad happens, that child holds. You never know that your child is being molested. You will never know that your child is being bullied every time they open up their mouths. You're right there on them, taking away their voices, making them feel as if they are a problem and a burden. But a lot of us don't realize that we are doing that. Look how many children are being bullied. How many children uh, that are being abused, and they're being abused by family, close friends, people of trust, because they know that. If I come and say this is going to be her reaction. How do I know? Because it has happened so many times. Some of us not knowing, and some of us know. Two, as I say, that person is the adult. You respect adults. They're not hear you saying anything bad, but yet that person is the bad guy. And you take away that power from your child and you put that person in position to abuse your child. And that is something you really, really need to think hard about. And we need to sit down and have those boundaries for ourselves, really. If my child come to me and say, "Oh, my sister slapped them on," and I'm just going to say, "Oh, that's going on," and it's okay if she slap you. No, it's not okay. Especially if you yourself do not use corporal punishment with your child, or you know that person all of a sudden starts. I didn't say that. You're lying, and I'm going to do this, and I'm going to do that. You never did back that child down and say, "No, don't speak to my child that way." You do not protect your child. Then who will? You leave them open for all types of danger because your child didn't come from a stranger. When danger comes with your DNA, especially if you have a family history of physical or sexual abuse. So allowing your child to have that voice, to me, it's very important. Not to a point of them being disrespectful, but at some point, you have to look at it and say, not everything that child's not disrespectful. And again, defiant, disobedient, rebellious, there's something going on, and it's up to you to figure it out. Now, enhance communication skills. Allowing children to have the last word encourages them to articulate their thoughts and feelings clearly. This practice helps them develop vital communication skills and learn how to express themselves respectfully. Respectfully. But then, just because you are a parent does not mean that you don't have to show your child respect. That is where we're getting it wrong. You do as I say because I'm the parent. And if I call you a bunch of B's and MFs and SOBs and everything else, then I expect you to take it and move on. Negotiation and compromise. In instances where children feel final say, they become more adept at negotiating and finding compromises. They learn to listen to different perspectives and express their own needs effectively. Now, affirmation and validation. Giving children the last word can validate their feelings and opinions, showing them that their thoughts are valued. This can strengthen the parent-child bond and promote a sense of mutual respect. Mutual respect. You know, if you disrespect your child, you expect them to take it. They will go out that door and disrespect someone else and expect them to take it because it's learned at home. It's learned at home. So what you do to your child is what they're going to go in the streets and do to somebody else. And that is just the honest to goodness truth. And we know, we see it, we've all dealt with it. Some have never had to deal with it, thank God. But in the end, what you do to your child is what your child will do to those outside that door. So if you continue to treat your child as if they don't matter, when they run into someone else that is in a position of authority, because you as the parent is in position of authority, they will learn. You're teaching your child to be disrespectful. You are teaching your child to be disrespectful. And then we sit there and say, what did they get that from? You know, they're saying if you watch how a child acts, you know exactly what's going on at home. I truly believe that. I truly, truly believe if you watch a child, you would know what's going on. The ones that's good on, that even if you clap and jump, you know what's going on at home. And that's the sad part. And then a parent will come and act like everything is okay and they're the most loving, God person that you will ever know. And deep down inside, they're monsters. They are monsters. They're abusing the children left and right. And a child is very afraid to just come out and say, you know what, I'm being abused at home. You know what, I didn't eat. They become so accustomed to it. But at the same time, some of them have that built up aggression and they become little monsters. Really, they do. Those are the ones that abuse people and animals. Now, potential for arguments. On the flip side, consistently allowing a child to have the last word might lead to power struggles or arguments, especially if they feel the need to assert themselves in every situation. So you see the positive, but then you see the negative. It's essential to find a balance so that conversations remain respectable and constructive. Now, boundary setting. It is crucial to establish boundaries around discussions. It is beneficial for your children to express their opinions. They should also learn that certain situations requires cooperation to rules, even if they don't get the last word. So you see that you're constantly at work. Parenting is not easy. It really isn't. And like I said, if you had a troubled childhood, then you're fighting. Like that's an uphill battle right there. But what we must realize is that there's help that is available. There's help. Get the help. But I just believe if you come from a traumatic childhood, before you have children, you should seek counseling so that you're not handed down that generational curse. I myself believe that. I truly do. Conflict resolution. Allowing children to voice their opinions and have the last word can also provide a valuable lesson in conflict resolution, teaching them to navigate disagreements with others in a healthy manner. So, in summary, letting your child have the last word can be a double edged sword. It fosters independence, communication, and validation, but it's essential to balance this with the need of boundaries and respect of dialogue. Open communication and mutual respect are paramount in promoting healthy interactions. Okay, so now let's move on from there. Now, let your child take the lead whenever possible by offering limited choices. For instance, ask your child, do you think you are ready to cross the street by yourself? Or would you like me to hold your hand? I'm just going to close this door because I can get noisy a bit. It's such a beautiful day out. It really truly is. Now, um, When you use the, just one second, would you like for me to hold your hand or hold the back of your bike and help you practice, or you can ride it by yourself? When you use the car, are you willing to bring it back with a tank at least half full, or do you want to lose the privilege of using the car? And so we know that that is for the older children. Some children will push and push until they get a spanking. And they're just using it properly here. They're saying spanking, but we know they're just some meetings. Then they settle down. Listen to this part real carefully. They have been trained not to settle down until they are spanked. Instead of spanking, hold the disobedient child firmly on your lap. No matter how much she struggles, do not let go until she settles down. And I know a lot of us are like, oh, I don't have time for that. I'm not going to do all that. That's a lot of work. It is your child, it is their future, and it's up to you to put in that work. Okay? Because when it's all said and done, no one's going to put that work in for you. And the people that put that work in for you, they are normally the people that the state will use once they remove that child from your household. And why let it get to that point? Seriously speaking, why wait for it to get to that point to where ACS, CPS, whatever you want to call it, is removing your child from their home? Because the backlash and the downside of that is that a lot of times they can place them into a home that turns out to be worse than yours. It will be worse than yours. So why allow them to go through that? Why allow it? Again, if you have a lot of trauma before you call your stuff, because you're not a child, get that help that you rightfully deserve. That was not given to you as a child. Give it to yourself. Now, and let me just say, and I truly believe that a lot of children that you see, you can ask them something in a calm voice, and I'll be done. And that child will just go on and on until you are on screaming and yelling, cussing, and everything else, because that is the attention that that child is used to getting. Like if I have to get her attention, then if it means screaming and yelling and cussing me out and whooping me, then it's the attention that I want. I mean, at least I got to spend some time with the child is trying to put it together. When you should have it together. You like we are confused that unconditional love comes with pain. Sometimes if you just step back and allow your child to figure it out, especially if you come from an era where you were never allowed to express yourself or voice your opinion. But if your child starts to speak, it may sound aggressive at first because that is how you are. But then if you say, hey, you know what? Whatever it is that you're going through, say what you need to say, but lower your voice because I can't hear you if you're screaming. And I'm yelling, and excuse me for getting all excited and, really blowing this out of proportion because a lot of times that's what we do. Because we need to have the upper hand in everything because we just assume because we're the parents that it's my way or the highway. You do as I say or don't eat in my house. We just come with these asinine rules like, oh, that's so old. Like, what do you mean I can't eat in your house? And if I'm trying to explain something to you, and you're shutting me down. And when I go outside and someone is trying to explain something to me, you have already taught me to shut them down. So where's the conflict resolution? Like, I don't even know how. I don't know. I'm just as clueless as you are. And now that someone's trying to teach me the right way, you already have me believing that this person is the enemy because they don't think like you think. Be careful what it is that you do to your children. I'm telling you, we should have a lot less crime, a lot less dropouts if we learn how to compromise with our children. They would be a lot happier. Their relationships will last a whole lot longer. A boy will turn into a man and know how to treat a woman. A girl will grow to be a woman and know how to treat men. She will know how to respect herself. If the father is in that house, then he should teach his children, his son, how to be a man. What it is to treat a woman, like a queen. A woman would teach her daughter. If this man speaks to you, this man, if he puts his hands on you, if he's not willing to compromise with you, then you are to move in the opposite direction. But if she's seen this man, her father, your boyfriends, because a lot of us go through a lot of boyfriends and girlfriends, because we need somebody by our side instead of trying to figure us out, then she will know that when this man is disrespectful to her, that it is okay because he is in the right. Because this is what my father did to me. This is what my father did to my mother. Again, no one said parenting is easy, but we must do better. And for us to have children, their children, our grandchildren, like we need to get out of that. Let me undermine my child. I was so abusive to you, but here it is, my grandchild, and I'm telling you, oh no, you need to allow them to do this, and you need to allow them to do that, and you're trying to make that parent seem irrelevant to that child. You're trying to, as we say, clown that parent in front of that child instead of saying to your child, away from their child, try that with you and it was wrong, and I'm sorry, but there is a better way. Acknowledge that you were wrong, that you did your child wrong. Because the next thing you know, you have your grandchild going their parent trying to challenge them. And you set that up. So here you are trying to manipulate your child. Because a lot of times we still hold animosity. If that child gave us a hard time and we had been in and out of court, you're still holding it against them. And that is where forgiveness come in. Healing starts. Oh, your mother don't be yelling at my grandchild. Like, no, just let them have it. Like, you know what? Apparently, no one stepped in for your child when you were raising them. Allow that parent to raise their child. And if something seems like it's wrong and there's some abuse there, away from that child, have that conversation with your child. Look here, I see the bruises. You know what I mean? That child is missing school. The child don't look like he's being fed. Do you need help? Do you need help? What can I help you with? And then help. Help because when it's all said and done, you feel helped. You feel your child. And that's where we make the mistakes. Like this little girl that lost her life 2 weeks ago, allegedly, the grandmother was abusing her. This is school. who knew about it. The father suddenly took it upon himself to essay his own child, almost decapitate her, remove her hands. If your grandchild is put in your care, then something happened, and you were put in a position of trust to care for your child, your grandchild. But when you take that child in and you continue to abuse that child because you yourself thought it was right when you was whooping and beating and cussing out that child's mother that this is what I did, so I'm just going to continue because when I went upside my mother and father's head, this got that. No, 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 no. You went upside their heads and it didn't matter to them because that's why you got your grandchild and your cousin. Like, I will keep saying, we need to break that generational curse of continuing corporal punishment, um, verbal abuse, verbal, physical, mental, financial. These are things that we lay on our children. And then we need them to go outside that door and be functional. Yeah. Or we decided that whenever our children were doing something and we knew it was wrong, as long as we were benefiting from it, we're going to turn a blind eye. We're going to turn a blind eye to what you're out there doing because when it's all said and done, my bills are paid. I have a car. I have a latest purse. I can travel until they knock on my door and tell me that you're no longer alive. Now I'm sitting here in front of cameras and everybody else in the family that really know the whole story. And I'm sitting here shedding tears, saying, how could they do that to my child? No, how did you do that? Because had you followed different steps and got the help for you and your child, when it's all said and done, if you have to go into family counseling, go into family counseling. If you did not figure it out from birth up to 5 years old, you need help. You need help. And that is something that we all need to take accountability for. Our actions, our actions, the voice that we took from our children, and how we condition them to say that this person is older so that they're right. And this is the person that is abusing them sexually, physically, mentally. Now imagine you're sitting there with a relative, and that relative is abusing your child, but being that that's the aunt or uncle, you're saying you have to respect this person. And when they tell you to do something, you do it. Or the person come and say, oh, there's something wrong. The next thing you know, you're looking for a belt, a stick, your fist, whatever. We need to get away from that. We need to get away from that. That's why juvenile hall stays full. That's why juvenile hall stays full. And so let's go on. No matter how she struggles, do not let her go until she settles down. With an older child, say, I am not going to punish you. I am sorry I have used those methods in the past and wish to change our relationship. Accountability and looking for change. And showing your child that it is okay to apologize for your mistakes. Acknowledge them, apologize. Let's try to move on. Let's try to move past this. And if that right there, I agree with wholeheartedly. I'm not happy with what you are doing, but I love you and would like your help so we can stop fighting with each other and work things out together instead. Now, that to me just go over what happens when we use corporal punishment, and it's our go-to methods. Now, in increased aggression. Children who experience corporal punishment may learn to express their frustration and anger through aggression rather than understanding the consequences of their defiance. They might mirror the behavior they experience, leading to increased hostility towards peer and authority figures. Those are the ones that be up in that school fight with teachers. Yeah, those be the ones that's sitting there, during a basketball game, and because they didn't get the call they thought they should get, now they're tossing the ball across the room, and then they're sitting there cussing and screaming and looking for a fight. Those be the ones. Fear and anxiety. Corporal punishment can create an environment of fear and anxiety. Children may become more focused on avoiding punishment than on understanding the reason behind rules of self development. This fear can undermine their ability to engage in open communication and may stifle their emotional development. Yeah, and that's what I said earlier, having that fear of if I say this, when she looks, she's having a bad day. This is a bad time to bring this up. This is a bad time to bring up that I just got robbed. This is a bad time to bring up that I'm being bullied. This is a bad time to bring up that someone has touched me inappropriately. So you see how you take away that child's voice, and you instill fear and anxiety. Damage trust. Trust between a parent and child can be severely compromised through the use of corporal punishment. Children feel betrayed or unsafe, which can lead to a breakdown in communication and hinder the development of a secure, supportive relationship. Yeah. Let me tell you what comes to mind. This is like the child that is online and suddenly an adult start having inappropriate conversations with your child and asking your child to meet them somewhere and talking about the clothing and, McDonald's, buying the McDonald's, getting their nails done and their hair did. That is an inappropriate conversation for a child to be having with an adult. When you take away that child's voice, or that child is brought to you with a problem, and they hear you on the phone with your friends and other family members talking about stupid things they don't know nothing and they're no good for nothing. That trust, that betrayal, it will never be the same. It will never be the same. That child will look outside that door for comfort. As a matter of fact, the adult that's trying to gain your child's trust because they're coming off so smooth and telling that child all the things that you never said to that child will run with that adult each and every time, not knowing that that adult is worse than the one that's in their home. Because chances are you may care a little bit because you birthed not knowing this sounds good. I never had a father in my life. This is how a father is. And let me go with him. He said he's going to spend some time with me. Spend some time. A lot of times when these young girls, even these young boys, are running off with people that is behind a screen, it is because they are showing them some type of attention. It is because their tone is so soothing. It is not that of aggression. Go down, I'll knock you down. Oh, I just had a bad day. Go do this, go do that, go do this. And in return, what do I get? I can't even get 5 minutes of your like. I hear you with this baby in your hands, and you're saying, "I love you, I love you, I love you." But when are you going to say to me, "You see the damage"? And that's what a lot of us don't like to acknowledge, that we damage our own children, and then want to go outside our doors and act like, "Oh, no, that happened in school." No, 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 no. That happened at home. Take accountability for your actions. Take accountability for your actions. Oh, what happened to my child? I don't know. You should be able to tell the authorities what happened to your child. Because if you were monitoring, and I don't care if they're 16, 17, let me tell you something. If you're under the age of 18, anything that I have, I'm going to monitor it. So I want to know what your online activities look like. If I see a change in your behavior and I'm coming to you, I want to know, like, is everything good? We look and say, there comes a time when we're violating or overstepping our boundaries. But, I see you get a text and your whole demeanor change. I want to know what's in that text. If I'm calling you to spend time with you and you want, caught up on what's going on online, I need to see what it is. I need to monitor your whatever you have going on online. I need to monitor that. So if there are certain sites that are blocked, I'm going to make sure they're still blocked. But assuming because your child is, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, borderline 18, if you turn 18 tomorrow, then I'm monitoring today. And when we have appropriate conversations, and I'm saying to my child, this conversation does not seem right. How long have you known this person? You start showing concern. That changes the relationship. Or you really do care. Again, stop taking the child's voice away. Now, low self-esteem. That someone suffers so much from it. Repeated corporal punishment can negatively affect a child's self-esteem. They may internalize feelings of worthlessness or shame, which can contribute to a long-term psychological issue such as anxiety and depression, rebellion, and defiance. Instead of curbing defiant behavior, corporal punishment can escalate it. Children may respond by becoming more defiant as they seek control over their bodies and choices. This response can lead to a cycle of punishment and rebellion, making discipline less effective. So when you just sitting there tagging your child up, as you say, putting some hands on them, as you say, putting a boot to the head or whatever it is that's being called today, you're talking your child up the street. You are talking your child up the street. And so they go outside because you already showed them what combat looked like. And so they go outside and they're looking for combat. Now they just feel, tough. I don't took a punch. I don't took a kick. I don't took a slap. Now I go outside and let me see who I can put the same type of paint on. You didn't do what I said. You looked at me wrong. Well, he looked at you wrong, and he said the word "what" when you called him, and you went upside his head. So now he's going outside, and somebody gonna look at him wrong. Now he's going upside their heads. So you see how the cycle comes. It just repeats itself. When you sit there and beat on your child, you are doing nothing more than setting your child up for the streets. For the streets to take over. Now, ineffective learning. Studies show that corporal punishment does not teach children appropriate behavior or effective problem-solving skills. Instead, it may lead to a lack of understanding about why certain actions are unacceptable. which hinders their ability to learn from their mistakes. Now, children who are subjected to corporal punishment may be more likely to use similar methods of discipline with their own children, their generational curse, perpetuating the cycle of violence and negative behavior across generations. Have you ever seen that family that's all they want to do is fight? That's all they do. They fight each other, they go to the funerals, they fight, the family get togethers, they fight, they meet up at the corner store, they're fighting, and then you just wonder like, who's that? And then you look and go, oh, that's just a so-and-so family. That's what they do. That is what they do. This is normal for them. We have to be careful. We truly, truly do. And as I said, and then we go outside and we look at people that say, oh, your son robbed. That wasn't my son that just robbed you. But I'll just make sure he bring it back. Oh, really? That's the solution? But as I said before, when you run to people like that, when it's all said and done, they really hate the court system. So you just tell them, oh, well, you know what? I guess I'm just going to press charges. See you in court. See you in court. These be like the ones that thought that their father was correct because the 13, 12 or 13 that was bullying his child. Hello, Marie, bullying his child. And so he said to the girl, don't bully my child. And the girl bent down to say something. And then he slapped her. He slapped all the girl. And people said that's what she did. No, that's not what she did. That's a child. She's 12 and that boy was 5 or 6 years old. There were steps that should have been taken. And so rightfully, if charges were pressed, and it should have been pressed for child abuse and assault on a minor, but parent, you have taught your son that in situations that you are to abuse a female, you just taught him to beat on women. But you're looking at it like you said something to my son, take yourself back to that school. Go to the police station and file a report. Go take her parents to court. Matter of fact, ask to speak to her parents first. But all of this, you as the parent, if someone does something to your child and you want to take matters into your own hands, you will pay the price for it. You will. You will. Because you know what? A lot of times, what the flip side of it is that a lot of parents, at times, they're not even aware that the children is carrying on the child bullying. She did what? I've seen parents that came up to schoolhouses to book their kids at the schoolhouse. Do you really think that that was handling the situation the right way? No, you made it even worse. At least it all depends on what the parents are doing. Right. But if you take up to the schoolhouse to say to your child that you was bullying someone, and so now I'm here to inflict corporal punishment on you. First of all, you just committed assault in front of that teacher's face. So the very teacher that you think you're protected by law, she's mandated by law to report that. Yeah. So when you're done, the next time they do so, call me. Okay, no, you best believe by the time you got to the call, they already made a call. Because if those cameras are rolling and they did not report it, guess who? Guess who's without a job? So embarrassing your child, and so now your child, she begins to bully, and they're sitting there laughing. Don't let me have to call your mother. Yeah, that's what the mother came to school. That old school way of if you after school, I'm coming to school to do this and do that. Again, do you really think you taught your child a lesson? Do you really thought your child learned something? Good luck if you really believe that. Embarrassing your child, that's not the solution. That's not the solution. And I've seen so many times fathers would be there saying, "Oh, you was online talking to these boys, and now I'm whooping you, and tell them how old you are, and if you're gonna do it again." What? So you didn't think to either confiscate that computer and the phone, have an open conversation of why you think it's wrong? Anything outside of showing the world that I will beat my child down like an animal. As a matter of fact, I would not even do this to an animal, is the way we handle things. No, no. So if something was really happening, you think she's coming to you to say whatever? No, no. Mm-mm. That trust is broken. That bond is broken. Marie said, not every child turns out like that. Right. We need to stop treating our kids like criminals because this is what we're setting them up to become, criminals. We must stop acting like criminals because we're showing them that this, what we're doing, is the right way. And those be the ones that be outside. Oh, the police said, put your hand. For what? For what? For what? Get off of me. You, I don't even know what it is that you're doing, but you're doing something that are just adding another charge and another charge and another charge and another charge. Because why is what you're doing at home. So instead of going at, to your child in a loving way, you want to sit up there and go toe to toe with your child, screaming and pushing and shoving and cussing. To say what again? That I'm the parent? That I am the parent? Yeah, legal and social consequences. In many places, corporal punishment can lead to a legal repercussion for caregivers. Socially, it can isolate families as friends or community members may disapprove of physical punishment as a disciplinary technique. So, in summary, the backlash from disciplining a defiant child through corporal punishment can result in a host of negative outcomes, including increased aggression, fear, damaged trust, low self-esteem, and an inability to learn appropriate behavior. These consequences highlight the importance of utilizing more positive and constructive methods of discipline that focus on communication, understanding, nurturing the parent-child relationship. And not making a difference between, but it's just obvious when you just look at what is happening in today's world that the ones that are going to school often their mates, often their mates for some reason, and I don't know because I've never did a study on it before, but there is a difference there. There is a racial difference there of the ones that's going into the schoolhouse, and those are the quiet children, the ones that the teacher said, I never seen them coming. They were so quiet, always so timid, always so shy. And then when you look into the background, those are the ones that parents mentally, if not even physical abuse, mental abuse, mental. And the crazy part, they all were under 18 years old. The ones that the parents said, I'm going to buy this weapon for your birthday, and I'm going to take it and show you how to use it. thinking that that's the answer. And then so that very, very quiet child, that timid child, be the ones that come to school, the ones that the parents separated and they didn't know how to deal with it. And whoever it was that custody didn't really want custody. And so the child went up to the school and all their peers, and on the flip side, the other ones, they're the ones that beating the soul out of their children. And so their children go to the school and beat the soul out of the teacher. Not so much the classmates, but out of the teacher because they so bad want to be someone that's in control because they really want to do it to their parents, but they don't. They go out and find another adult or they be the ones that their kids grow up to be an adult and just cannot have a decent relationship with anyone. And those be the ones that go back in their 30s and 40s and unlike their parents and unlike them. They sit there and they plot and plot and plot and plan. And when they hit their 30s and 40s, and everyone is sitting here at the family reunions and having a good time and not realizing, and the parents not realizing how hostile their child was towards them, that every time you turn around, they are reminding parents of what they used to do. And everything the parents do in their eyes seem wrong. So socially, we are messed up. We're messed up socially. But we will continue to hand this down if we don't get the help and if we don't forgive the people that we believe have caused us harm. And a lot of times they did. They did. But I think half the battle is when you admit, oh, let me stop. Something's wrong. And I'm asking for this. And I am apologizing. Because when it's all said and done, it was just something that was handed down to us. And we just didn't know how to break that generational curse. So we just keep harming, harming, and harming until, you know, every generation is sitting in court. Or, 4 or 5 each generation is in the grave. It is okay to say, I have messed up. But you must learn how to forgive. You must learn how to forgive your parents. Really, you must learn to forgive yourself for harboring such thoughts. This is the reason why, again, it takes us back to praying, 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 getting to know who God, getting to know Jesus, getting to know the Holy Spirit, having that guidance and that comfort there. Because sometimes we're looking for something that another human can't, they cannot give this to us. They cannot give it to us. But if you teach your child how to pray, if you can open up and say, I was wrong and not assuming because I'm a parent that meant whatever I did was right when you know you didn't like it. And so now you did it to someone else and they're not liking it. But the rules and the laws of the street has changed. And again, when you're beating and you're cussing and You're doing all these things to your child to prepare them for the streets, and they're more in the streets and running with that crowd. I say it again. If you know that you have caused your child any type of mental, physical, or even financial, that they would have to go out here and steal and take someone else's life for what belongs to them, and you need to acknowledge it, and you need to get on your knees, and you need to pray, and you need to ask for forgiveness, and you need to help your grandchild or your great great grandchild or your great 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 grandchild. So no one from your generation stepped in to help you, but you can step in and help. And this is why I keep saying we need to be that village. When you see something that's going on, don't just assume, well, they don't have nothing to do with me. That's not my child. You know, we all in denial until it hits our door. We all want to turn a blind eye and say, I'll just stay with myself until it hits home. When it hits home, it's just calm. If you have plenty, share it. If you see someone going through something and they're constantly yelling at their kids, and the kids seem like they're not fed, they're not dressed, offer some assistance. That person may not be acceptable, because a lot of times we go through things and we're embarrassed. But the longer you keep trying, I mean, God didn't give up on you, then why would you give up on somebody else? You may have something, has my oh, you know what? I just realized that I'm worth 5 or 6 packs of chicken. You can take a pack yourself. We are in this time right now that we need to be that community. We need to bring that. We need to go back in the day where, what, tonight we eat in my house, and then, the next day we may eat at your house. Like, you have to build that bond, and I know it's hard because people are trustworthy. Like the man that stayed with his girl, and then suddenly he goes to work whenever he went, and he leaves his on again, off again girlfriend to watch his 3-year-old, and she allows his child. So it is hard to say, I trust you with my child. I just looked at on my screen, I believe it was on, I want to say either Instagram or TikTok. And I was a Caucasian woman there. And her mother and father was Caucasian. And she had a mixed child, African American child. And the grandmother was saying to the child, N word, N word, N word, N word, N word, N word. Look at that, look at that, look at that. And then the father was saying, that's enough. Stop saying it. That's enough. That's enough. Not now. Not now. Also, there's a time to start speaking that way, a derogatory way, a racial way. You're looking at your grandchild calling her the N word. Well, I think your daughter open up her legs and get her here. And how does that make her? And then the daughter, stop it, mother, stop it, no more. I said, stop it. Like, first of all, she was so comfortable. Why are you in these people's house? Because she didn't just wake up one day and just take a camera and just start calling little girl N-word. She's been doing it. You're just mad because now she has the camera and now she's about to upload this to social media, which she did. But it was up to you to protect your child. And look, times are hard for everyone, and we all may have to be 99 people in the household or whatever the case could be. But when you truly know that there's that much hate in a person, whether that person gave birth to you or not why it's your child in that same household. Grandmother or no grandmother, let me tell you something. What the Bible says, as far as the east is from the west, that's just how far I would be away from you. Because I already know who you are and what you represent. Again, it is our job as parents to protect our children. Because if you can take a camera and call my child the N word, and then, oh my God, this lady was going in. And the girl looked like she was like 4 or 5 years old, not understanding nothing dealing with race. But yet, you have your child in that environment. You have your child in that environment. So see, there's so much going on, so much that we have to be held accountable for. We have to be held accountable for as parents. If you need help, reach out. There are agencies, but we need to get away from. And I just say, and I just need to say this: we need to get out of that mindset. I can have a child, and the welfare will take care of them. Because let me tell you something. At any day now, them agencies are going. Like, if you are not mentally, financially prepared, stop pushing these children out. And let me tell you why I say that. Because the odds are already against them. The odds are already against them. And you, we as women, push these kids out by people, by men that we know. They were there for one and one thing only. And chances are it will be your responsibility. It will be your responsibility. If you don't have a job, if you don't have a home, if you don't have the finances, get some birth control. Because I am telling you, too many of these children are being unalived by their parents, especially by the mother, especially because you thought that if you get pregnant and that was going to keep that man in your bed. And now here's this child looking just like the person that abandoned them. And now you want to take it out on that child. You are wrong. You are wrong. Like we need to have a whole new mindset. That's like I think it's a basketball player that said, I want nothing to do with this child. I don't want no visitation. I don't want no custody. Tell me what I have to pay. Tell me what I have to pay because I want nothing to do with this child. I was just going through there for the night. And then, suddenly she pulled me up talking about you. Let me tell you something. I have been one that's been against baby trafficking. But you sit there and assume that I'm going to have his baby because he has a car, and he has this and he has that, and oh, let me just go ahead and have his baby, and now I can be taken care of. There needs to be a law against that, because when it's all said and done, those are two adults, they both should use protection. 9 times out of 10, it falls back on you. And you pushing out a child for financial gain, you deserve nothing. And I'm telling you that as a woman. All of this, like that is happening so much. Oh, let me just have his baby because he an NBA player. Hey, first of all, you need to take a little more responsibility and you need to cover up. Because see, somebody's just saying to you, I'm on birth control. You don't know, you just met them, but you're ready to hop into bed with them. But then you being conniving and thinking that, oh, I'm about to live this lavish lifestyle, and I'm going to go in, and he's going to give me child support, and I'm going to have a car, and I'm going to have a house, and I'm going to have this. You should have nothing. You should go to work. Go to work. Get a job. Get a job, and stop trying to baby trap people. Because at the end of the day, you didn't want that baby. You wanted the name that may have been associated. But we as women need to do a little bit better. We need to do a little bit better. Stop trying to trap these no good people. You knew what the game was when you lay down and opened up your legs. Oh, this, oh no, what's his name? Oh, let me just, oh, what's her name? Even the other one, the GDG, I don't even know what's the Bailey woman name. Like, you're just saying, give me the baby. Okay. Hey, we need to stop this. Stop trying to use people. And the courts need to make that clear. How long you've been in that relationship? Everybody needs to take accountability. If you knew that you was not in a relationship and you failed to use any type of protection, let me tell you something. Go back and I'm not on that door. I don't care how old my child is. But what you will not do, and thank God, and hopefully he out there with strapping up wherever he thinks he needs to lay his head. But if you push a child out looking for something, let me tell you something. If that child needs to be taken care of until that child is 18 years old, I got 9 years and you got the other 9 years. And then I'm out. You cannot force a relationship from a one night stand. So if you're pushing out a baby and then say, oh, I didn't work and he needs to pay my medical bills. If you know you didn't have the means, why don't you push out a baby? And if you know that you was a fly by night type of person, why do you want anything that's going to associate you with this person for the rest of that little child's life? We need to do better. And let me tell you something. The moment again we take responsibility for our actions, the happier these children will be. Just imagine a child, and then it's like, where's my father? Where's my mother? They really never really did want you. And you know how family is. Family won't tell it. Whether they tell it to you when you're 5, 6, 7, 8, they won't tell you exactly what happened. And you think that mentally that is not going to play a role in your child, you keep on. Stop playing with your kids' lives. If you're not in it because there is love and commitment there, then you have no business whatsoever bringing a child into that unhappy situation, into that damaged situation, into the situation where you're sitting there trying to drag each other because you refuse to work, because you feel like if I'm singing a song, or if I'm running up and down a basketball court, or if I'm throwing a football, into a field goal, that I'm scot free. These laws need to change. And let me tell you, as a woman, I am against it. I'm not against it because all of this, I'm just laying up for $1 or, oh, I'm going to have his baby and I'm going to be set for life. Yeah, good luck with that. Good luck with that. And no courts have no business trying to force someone to be a parent. You cannot force someone to love what they did not plan. But again, it is up to us to take responsibility. So, with that being said, as we wrap up today's reading on Defiance, Disobedience, and Rebelliousness, we as parents need to take responsibility and know what it is that we are doing. We decide that we want to push another life out of us. We know that parenting does not come with a handbook, but there are handbooks. Because I'm telling you, I'm reading it for you. There are handbooks now. Even though I don't need a handbook. I don't need nobody telling me what to do. Oh, no, really, we all need someone to guide us. We all need someone to guide us. So, with that being said, pray, pray, pray. And I'm aware that the screen went black and then came back, but we need to continue to pray. We need to pray for one another. We need to Encourage one another. We need to feed each other as much information that is encouraging. And that's what to the point when I want to talk about anti stuff. That's what it's all about. Let's continue to find ways to help one another. Let's continue to be that village for these children. They cannot be our future if they're behind bars. They cannot be our future if they're in the grave. We as parents need to take accountability for our actions. And the old school wanting to go upside somebody's head, that is done with. That is over. Stop robbing your children of a peace of mind, of love. Because if you don't show them love and someone in the street show them love, it's going to be a different type of love. It's going to be the love that's either going to tie them to a place and then just pushing out baby after baby. And even the women are leaving. Even the women are leaving now. And they just up to the point, well, I just push off this baby, so you just take my, and I'll be back later. Before it was just a man. Everybody gets a turn. But we just need to be better parents. We need to be a better village. We need to continue to help one another out. That is the way really God intended it to be. We being there for each other, showing each other love, being kind, having patience, and forgiving. If your parents have done something to you that you did not like, forgive them. If you're doing something to your child that is causing mental or physical harm, apologize and ask for their forgiveness and move on. If you see it happening to your grand or your great grand, even your cousins or someone, open up your mouth and save that child's life. Save them from the torment. Because when it's all said and done, that's one thing I can say that we need to bring back again is that old school village. We're just watching out for each other's children. We take them to school, hey, I'm home during this here time. I can pick them up, either hold them for you, or you can take them home because there's an older child there. You can take the child home. You're working late, hey, look at here. I'm coming up to feed your children as well. This is the time and era that we're in. We are about to go into some dark days. We are. And the only way to get through these dark days that are ahead is to pray and come together as a community. Having someone trust you, do not betray that trust. Do not violate that trust by violating their children, by violating their household. Don't do that. Don't do that. Pray. Pray. Someone come to us with help. Pray. Ask the Father. This person from you when you send in this person. Pray. Keep praying. Let me tell you, that's what's going to get you there. Prayers. And when you have it to give, share it. Share it. And sometimes it's not even all about money. It's just about showing that child some love. Speaking kind words. Thank you for allowing me to share these things with you. Again, as much as I am bringing you the word, the Holy Spirit, scripture based, I am also trying and research to bring positive discipline into your household and break those chains of generational curses. Let's continue to save our children. Let's continue to pray for them. The devil is busy. The devil is busy. And when you're not praying, you're opening that door for him to come in and destroy your household. Really. To destroy your child. To have your child believe that stealing and lying is fighting and just off each other is the way to be. You have allowed these demonic spirits to enter into your life. Continue to ask God for forgiveness. And I will see you also with the next reading. It is Gail with To the Point 101. Let's talk about it. And He First Loved Us. And before I go, do not forget to like, subscribe, and share because someone out there needs help. And this is a great value to them. If you want to support the channel, you can send stars on Facebook when He First Loved Us and To the Point, or you can do super things on. Enjoy the rest of your day, and we are getting down to the last of Isaiah. Okay, that will be coming up short. I'm going to take this break, eat something, then I will be back. Take care and God bless. And do not forget, hashtag we are the village. We are the village.